This is Future Phenoms, tracking football's rising stars. I'm Andy, and I'm joined by Nino Brown and SC Romero. We have a jam-packed episode that we'll break down after the intro. Nino, SC, what's going on, guys?
Oh, I'm excited for this one. They keep getting spicier and spicier. Like I said on the X last week, get your popcorn ready.
That's good, man. You know what it is. The only thing I'm looking forward to in the week is Future Phenoms, what my wife's cooking for dinner, man. So let's get it.
Yeah, let's get right into it. Our first segment, names to watch for the 2024 college football season. SC, you're up first. Who's your first guy?
So, Andy, you know about this guy already. You know he's one of my top guys. It's going to be running back Mark Fletcher from American Heritage High School, true freshman last season. I think this is his season, man. Found out news, the running back in front of him, and I'm spacing on the name right now, was transferring out. Paris, there you go, Henry Paris. Transferring out. Man, this guy, Mark Fletcher, he's 6'2", 230. Runs with some velocity, runs with some aggression, 33 missed tackles forced. He had 396 yards after contact, 54-yard house call in week 12 against Louisville when he actually started getting it. He's the type of runner that he can catch the ball. He's not no efficient route runner or anything like that, but he can still get it on the outside and catch the ball. But then he can also run through the guys. And I think that's what I love about him. He has some speed. He's not going to burn anyone. He doesn't have like that breakaway speed, but he has speed to him that he can win a foot race. And I just think that this is a running back. I've been high on him since he came into the college scene. Again, American Heritage brings out some great prospects, and I think he is the next one up. I am all in on Mark Fletcher. I don't think there is a Devi or C2C league where I don't have him in right now. I'm all in on him.
I love Fletcher's game, and I just did a pod with Volume Pigs. We talked about I think he's going to be, and he agreed with me, the number 2 back in the class after the end of this season. But I have a concern. It's like I've always held hope on Jadon Blue out in Texas. Maybe this is the season, maybe not. Injury has always plagued this gentleman. But, man, if he stays healthy, Fletcher better watch out because he's creeping. Trayvon Citizen has been a dude. Coming out of high school, he was supposed to be this electric back. Can't stay healthy, right? Back-to-back seasons with the injury. Apparently, Chris Paul says he's healthy. We hear this all the time, right? And he didn't really get much. Yeah, we didn't get much run last year, which means maybe he wasn't ready. But hopefully now he's ready. I think it could be a good compliment to him. Well, with Paris gone, could be similar backs. I do like both of these guys. They run violent. They give me like Derrick Henry angry vibes, not to the same stature as Henry, but like how they just run angry, have no problem running over a guy, not avoiding contact. They were both running between the tackles. They can pop outside and take it. You did say that he doesn't have like the breakaway speed, but he's got that good enough speed where I don't know how you describe it. Like
he'll win a foot race. Like
he's win a foot race, but he's not gonna get really caught from behind by a linebacker. Maybe a DB or a safety will catch him, but linebackers not gonna maybe Peyton Wilson. But outside of that type of speed, they ain't catching him. I think Fletcher's a hit. And like I said, I think he's gonna be RB2 in this class by the end of the year.
Man, I went spicy, and he was my favorite RB in the class. I know you're going to have Baxter up there, but he was my favorite one. And you brought up Citizen, and Citizen's a great back, man, and I was all in on Citizen too. But like you said, those injuries happen. So it's one of those where I feel if coming in out of camp, Fletcher is the guy, I don't think Fletcher's going to give it up.
Where it's like hurt, right at the end of the season,
it was Darren too. He started get a little hurt too.
Yeah, I think he missed the bowl game, right, and everything like that. So is he 100% in spring? Because that's going to be something to monitor.
Mark Fletcher is out for the spring. Does that change anything for you guys? And also with Jordan Lyles coming in, incoming true freshman that flipped from Ohio State to Miami.
That's something to monitor. That is definitely something to monitor.
That's what I'm saying. If he wins the job, coming out of camp, not spring, but when you go in right before the season and everything like that. But I'd rather him rest and not do spring ball than come back and then not necessarily re-aggravate it, but not allow it to heal properly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and have it linger.
Exactly, because he's a bigger back too. So
Right,
the fear
230.
is right. So the fear is like if he doesn't recover smoothly, that it's just always gonna be something that's lingering. So with him specifically, it's like I'd rather you take your time, take it, and that way you can be full go come season.
I'm with it. It's something to monitor with all that kind of moving parts going on right now.
Oh yeah.
Nino, who's your first guy?
We're talking injuries, right? I brought up Citizen in his injury. I'm gonna talk about another guy who's kind of been injury bound, kind of just got buried last year because he kind of wasn't like fully recovered. Isaiah Naya, he's in Nebraska now. I know you got a guy we spoke about him a couple episodes ago in Banks, right? Coming over there, and he's gonna be the guy. But you want to talk speed? You want to talk bottle rocket? This guy gets shot out of a cannon. He doesn't even have to be a technician because if he gets behind you, you might as well just stop running because you ain't catching him. A chain mover. He accomplishes a lot of first downs. There's plenty of threat on his thighs. Like I said, 2 back-to-back seasons, one with injury, one just kind of stuck behind a depth chart. But his last season at Wyoming, he had 44 passes for 878 yards and 12 touchdowns. And that's a close to 20 yards per catch. That was 6th at the time in the FBC. This kid's got it. You know what I mean? And he posted out and multiple times already on his social media. He's hungrier than ever. This is a kid, how speedy he can be and how he can work, man. He could easily develop into Viola's a little bit of a safety blanket there, you know, because you can get him quickly off the line, pepper him, and let him work in space, especially if he's getting blitzed and you know, getting confused early in the season. I think the kid's hungry. Like I said, a lot of threat on the tire. Someone like that, chip on his shoulder, in an open wide receiver room, because you don't really know what's going on. I kind of like it.
So I I agree. He's beating the secondary every single time. If he takes the top, his specialty is taking the top off of him. They're all healthy. Who's the odd man out? Nair, Banks, or Coleman?
I gotta see Coleman first. Like he had super duper trouble last year. He was like kind of like a King Williams. He needed some like development raw, like cracking an egg. So it's like I want to be Coleman. I want to say he's going to be the guy that would take that step. But I haven't heard no buzz yet. I went and looked into researching Isaiah. I ain't seen nothing about Coleman wowing anybody or making that next step. So it might take him another half season before he kind of get it. But these two guys in Bank and Naya are good veterans to kind of help this kid in the process. So I think right now Coleman's the odd man out. But you know, he could benefit from having 2 veteran speedy receivers on the outside that can kind of get him into open areas.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that.
SC, who's your next guy?
So let's go on with the wide receivers that you're talking about it. And this is going to be Pufeli Ashlock, a redshirt freshman out at Hawaii. This guy, I mean, I was watching an interview from him at first. You know, he went to Hawaii. He had a bunch of offers coming out of high school, tore his ACL, and Hawaii was the only one that stayed with them. He came out and ended up having a breakout season for them. 83 receptions, team high, 128 targets, 832 yards, and 9 touchdowns. You know, they were asking him why aren't you transferring? Why didn't you enter transfer portal? And he was all like, Hawaii was loyal to me. Even though I got the ACL tear, they still said, yo, we want you. So he's like, I'm going to be loyal back. This is where I want to be. This is my team. Just an efficient route runner, has some great hands, a freshman All-American. You know, this is a guy that, again, Hawaii, you're not really thinking about what's going on outside the Pacific there. But this is a guy that I think he has a lot of juice to him, and we're going to see a next step for him as well. I'd see more to be like, oh, he's a pro wide receiver, but he's definitely someone I'm targeting CFF leagues and your C2C because I think he's going to put up points yet again and be their top target.
Yo, listen, he came in there and told McBride to hold his beer, right? They were bought in on McBride being wide receiver 1, and I think he might have maybe had a few more catches than Ashlock, but Ashlock was that dude. He was the explosive guy, the guy that made all the big plays, right? And now that they're all bought into Chang's system, and that big play game, straight is back. That's his guy. They got that connection. You've seen it early and often when he was in trouble, when Shea was on the move. Who's he looking for? Ashlock. Why? Because when things break down, Ashlock has a knack to kind of just find a way to get open, find a way to get off script and make things happen. And he also can burn you, in routes as well. So it's he checks a lot. I call him the jack of all trade, master of none yet. He could do a lot of good things, right? A lot of things good. He hasn't mastered them all, but he's getting better as we go. And I think in the system where he's at, I think that helps him excel and helps kind of key on his talent.
Right. No, I agree. Yeah, I think he's a favorite target for him, and that's something that it's a all air raid offense there now. So it's like it's gonna be beneficial to him to continue to see an uptick and potentially get more targets and receptions this year. Watch out, he could possibly get 1,000 yards this season.
Last year, week 0, when I wrote my Monday waiver article, when everyone was saying to get Stephen McBride, I told everyone in the article, grab Ofele Ashlock. He's the guy that you want. He still is the guy that you want. Nino, go ahead, Essie.
Just real quick, I mean, he's playing with the chip on his shoulder, right? Tore his ACL, and now it's like, oh, all y'all that backed out on me, I'm going to show y'all now. So you got to take a chance on those guys.
Definitely. Nino, who's your next guy?
I'm going to stay in the wide receiver room. I'm going to stay local. Guy out in Boston College. They've been hitting the portal, trying to bring in the guys, and they brought in 2 guys. But this guy, I think, is going to take off. And what I'm hearing, the buzz ready is already through the roof. It's Jared Bradley. Came over from Texas Tech, right? 6'5", 220. Just a perimeter worker. He's a leader already in the practices, in the spring practice. Only been like 4 or 5 practices already. And what the buzz is this kid's got it. He's a type of receiver that can literally own the ACC. Last year was kind of a down year. Texas Tech kind of was a down year for them. They had high expectations. They kind of fizzled out quick. Multiple injuries. Quarterback couldn't stay healthy. But he did have 36 receptions, 430 yards, 4 touchdowns. That's 12 yards per catch, still in the double digits. It's down from 22 when he had 51 for 7 foot. It's kind of just breakout. 6 touchdowns, close to 15 yards per catch. It's a deep room of wide receivers in Boston College, right? But what I like is you got a quarterback that can just instantly make things happen, and you have a new head coach who's developed quarterbacks. Bill O'Brien, Castellanos, I think they could be a match made in heaven. But you got Bond, McGowan, Tomlin, Skeet, Morales. It's going to be hard to pinpoint a guy, but he's the big body guy. He's really good at contested catches, and he's a downfield monster. He's hungry. He has that down year. Like I said, everything out of the camps I'm hearing is this kid's cooking in routes. Him and Amari are going back and forth every practice. So someone's got to step. I know Isaiah Lewis Bond is going to be the dude out there because he's the one and he's the most connected. Watch out, bro. This dude, being able to steal him from Texas Tech was huge. And that was with Hafley, not even with Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien, we've seen what he could do with Deshaun Watson out in Houston. If he can kind of get some polish on that passing game for Thomas Castellanos and keep that running, bro, when Thomas is mobile in that pocket, dude, Brantley can break off, bro, and Brantley could get these deep touchdowns in bunches or yards in bunches. So watch out for this guy.
Yeah, what I have by his route running is precise. He's very precise when he's doing his routes. He, like you said, just very effective and everything. And also, if he hasn't already broken away after the catch, he still gains 4 to 5 yards every play. It seems like he's not going down right at the contact. He's gaining the ball and he's making his moves to get a couple more yards there. So you always love to see that extra effort, if you will, and he kind of brings that to it. But I actually have it here, properly cut through the defense. That's what he does. Yep. So those are guys at the college level too. You'd like to see because it's just they make the defense look like a bag of crunched potato chips. You know what I mean? They're just crunched up together. They can't do anything, but he's just running loose and wild through them, and I love to see it.
He finds a way to get to QB who's not the best passer on open lane. You know what I'm saying? Like cut up a guy, put up a DB, run a DB into a linebacker, kind of crisscross, get him confused. Well, you get into space, and now your QB who's trying to work the kinks out has got an open lane to get it to you.
Right.
Thomas Castellanos has said during spring practices and interviews, he said that, if he can't get him the ball into the red zone, that's going to be his fault. And he plans to get Bradley involved early and often this coming season. SC, who's the next guy that you want to talk about?
So, I always got to go with some IDP guys, man. Mikael Kamara, defensive tackle for Indiana, transfer from James Madison. This guy had 41 total pressures last year, 21 in the first 2 seasons. So he definitely just excelled this past season at James Madison. James Madison had a bunch of dogs with them. Upset. I hope they go through and get the upset as well in the March Madness there. And 8 sacks last season and 36 run stops. This guy, he's quick to get around the line, but he uses his hands. He's moving his hands around the blockers, and then he's getting around them and then attacking the quarterback. That's what you love to see, especially with a bigger guy like him that can just maneuver around the line as effectively as he can, and he knows how to tackle. He can track the ball down and he wraps up correctly. He's someone that he's just going to constantly bring pressure on any quarterback he faces. If you see him on the line, you got to be afraid of him.
Yeah, transferring over to Indiana, that Big Ten competition. This guy, with my notes, two things I had was wraps up like a bear, right? Street Fighter, Honda, violent hands, just working you, bro. Get up in your pecs, get up in your armpits, making you uncomfortable. He may not, he may not like win the battle, but he's gonna make you uncomfortable where you ain't gonna be able to get him and outwork him. There ain't gonna be a day where you outman him, right? You ain't taking his jock strap in hand-to-hand combat. So I love it.
I love the Honda tray, and that's exactly what a lot of guys, you're like, oh, are they doing the swim move around? Are they making a spin? He's like, nah, man, I'm just going to make sure you don't know what's going on with all the hands I'm hitting you with, and then I'm gone, so I love it.
Nino, who's your last guy?
Going digging. And last year, this guy kind of jumped off the screen to me a little bit because he got some starts late in the season for Central Michigan, and he kind of started to take off. In 2 games, he totaled 349 yards against Northern Illinois, and Western Michigan. He had 20 runs of 10-plus yards out of a total 737 yards. My guy had 441 yards after contact. That's Marion Lukes. You better get used to that name because I think he's going to own this backfield. 5'9", 200 pounds. Not only is he a good runner inside, he can run inside, get out to the boundary, take off. My man had 30 receptions for 300 yards. You're talking about 10 yards per catch. Like, this guy is everything you want. Got the size, got the speed, can break tackles, can run in between the tackles, can get out the outside, got hands, can actually decently pass pro. And I think that's kind of why I got him a little extra time towards the end of the season, because he was able to protect the QB. Listen, if you don't know who Lukes is, go watch him tape. Go get him, because he's probably a late round guy you could pick up, or maybe he's possibly on your free agent list. Guys who are probably making a run in CFF leagues, they already got him.
Yeah, man, you brought up the yards after contact. I mentioned Mark Fletcher had 33 missed tackles. This guy had 38. He has that straight line speed. He can put the burners on, have a second burst kind of, but also he has great balance, a great strength to push off defenders and make his moves around as well. You brought up the pass catching, really an all-around back, and Central Michigan's like people that's got the helmets, they're not looking at him, but he's going to put in that work and he's going to be an asset for your team. So he's a fantastic runner, and if he's their guy next year, he's going to be it.
He could give them Rashid Ali type vibes for Central Michigan next season.
If Bert Emanuel is named the starting quarterback, does that hurt at all?
Slightly. I've never been an Emmanuel fan. I feel like he's kind of like Emory Jones type. He just can't. He's never really figured it out. What does he want to do? Which way does he want to go? Right. And right now it seems as though Emmanuel is kind of like, it's like a 51-49% in the lead early in spring. So we'll have to see. But what I see is it seems as though Lukes has got the edge as the RB1 coming out of camp. It's only been 5 practices for the Chippewas, but it seems as though he's kind of getting majority of the lead talk. So.
And those are some names to know and write down for your CFF, C2C, and IDP leagues. Now, our next segment is our This or That segment. We are going to be looking at a 2023 NFL rookie versus a 2024 NFL rookie. The first matchup for today, Kendre Miller versus Trey Benson. SC, you're up first.
Y'all should know where I'm going with this one. I mean, disgustingly looking just RB class. Trey Benson is my RB1. I gotta go with him right now. I think he's gonna get a shot, at being one of the guys, hopefully, assuming he goes to a team that needs an actual back. Kendre Miller is great. I do like him and what he can do, but Benson, man, he just his cuts. I'm really a fan of his one-step cut. He just goes and then he's gone. I feel like he was underused in the passing game. I feel he can do that as well. He's a workhorse back. I'm not 100% sold that Kendre Miller is going to be a workhorse back at this level. I see him more as a good fit to come in behind Kamara and be a replacement to that type of running. But I think Benson, man, he's everything you want in the running back. So I'm going to go ahead and say Benson right now.
I really wanted to just go at it with this one. But I'm at a 51-49 I don't really know which one I want to go with, but probably gonna have a hot take. I think Kendrick Miller was just a product of Garrett Riley's system. So, like, I really honestly do. Look at the jump he took in the year when Garrett Riley was given the keys to just let the offense go in the uptake. Right, got 17 touchdowns. Like, he didn't the yardage through the roof to over 1,000. That wasn't. We didn't see any of that prior to that. Like, granted, he wasn't the RB1, but we didn't see any of the explosive, nonetheless. Right, and he got to the Saints and Camaro with suspension and all this, and he couldn't really grasp any of that and take the bull by the horns or go with the opportunity. He had 41 attempts for under 200 yards, 1 touchdown.
Couldn't be out Jamal Williams.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he just couldn't seize the opportunity when it was given to him. I'd never been a Joe Benson fan. I just always had questions. I still have some questions. He's answered a few on like Travion Henderson. We've seen the explosiveness this year with Benson, back-to-back years of 900 plus yards, right? He scores the touchdowns. He was doing his thing. But what for me, 23 rushing touchdowns in past years. But for me, the thing that I like the most about him, which kind of puts him in the check win this category, is explosive was a question. Close to 500 breakaway yards this year. You got it. It's there. You're out of your head now. Last year, I think he kind of was still in his head a little bit, like questioning whether the injury was going or whatever. I think he got out of that. Right. Mm-hmm. And when asked to do it, and once he had a couple of big runs, I think he found his knack. I think he's back. I don't know where he lands. I don't know if he could be a workhorse. I think he's a 10 to 12 carry guy. Kind of like, I don't know if they'll be able to use him like they wanted to use a J.K. Dobbins. I think he might be dialed down a little bit more than that. I don't know if he could be a workhorse. I think teams are going to kind of always have the injury concern as well.
See, I have a lot of questions with Trey Benson. I mean, you want to say he's a workhorse back. He's never had more than 156 carries.
I didn't say that.
No, right now I'm talking to SC. This is SC's guy, and we've had this discussion. Yeah. You want to say he's a workhorse back. Florida State uses a 3-back system. They've never used him as a workhorse. He has that ACL that, he did recover from, but what I don't like about him at all is his wasted movement, his wasted motion, and he has horrible vision.
Terrible.
He's patient of a runner. He will just wait and wait and wait. You can't wait at the NFL. You have dudes that are 300 pounds that run a 4.5. They're going to get you in the backfield. All he does is wait and wait and wait. And he's going to wait himself out of the league in a couple of years.
Yeah, I see the gentleman from Houston, Texas, Damian Pierce. Like, same thing. Guy who couldn't get more than 150 attempts, right around that mark. Had a decent yards per carry, had some explosive runs, but then just kind of fizzles out down the stretch. And I think that's going to be like how Trey Benson is. Now, granted, if he's a supplementary back to a team, well, then we're talking a different ballgame.
No, I say workhorse as far as like the size. I think he can be a workhorse because of his size alone. He has that, but the injuries are great concerns.
18 carries a game, 15 to 18 carries a game. He can do that.
I think he could. When the thing with Florida State, whenever they were just doing okay and winning, still they were still undefeated. But once they started feeding Trey Benson, we actually saw a little bit more momentum in there as well. Did we not?
We did. But it's 17 games, not 13 games.
Yeah, that's true.
See, here's my thing. My comp on Trey Benson has always been Alexander Mattison. When you give him 5-6 touches, he's going to be good. He's going to be like, man, if he's ever starting back, he's going to be great. And then once he's the starter, he's going to flame out.
Tony Pollard.
So that's always been my comp on Benson. Is he is Alexander Mattison to an exact T.
I feel he has better footwork than Madison. like I said, man, his cut's nasty. He makes that cut and then he goes. Time will tell, right? Time will tell. But no, that's my guy. That's my RB1. I think he has that explosive to him. And like you said, it could be the lack of carries, but hey, I think he has that size that he could go to the next level, assuming he can stay healthy. Because, like you mentioned, also that's a huge concern, which is going to be the next guy too. But go ahead.
So that was our first matchup. Our next matchup is Michael Wilson versus Keon Coleman. Nino, you're up first.
I like this one. This was a good one. Michael Wilson, drafted in the 3rd round, 94th overall, right? And he had a 32.5 college dominator rating in his senior year, right? That the kid's got it. That's at Stanford, mind you, okay? like last season with the Cardinals, he had 58 targets. We had 3 quarterbacks that he had to go through, 38 receptions, 565 yards, 3 touchdowns as a rookie, right? He had 15 yards per catch. That was 26th in the NFL. Nobody's talking about it. He had a 66% reception rate. Nobody's talking about it. Like 95% true catch rate with the Cardinals. 3 different quarterbacks. Nobody's talking about it. 12 targets, 10 receptions in the last 2 weeks with Kyler. Now you're going to give this dude a full season with Kyler Murray, and Hollywood Brown is gone. They have to draft a guy. He's got to get acclimated, right? Everybody, Rondell Moore, gone. But the only veteran in that room, Zach Ertz, gone. It's Trey McBride and Michael Wilson. Keon Coleman, everybody's little love toy for the first 7 weeks of the season when he was making one-handed catches and touchdowns all over the place. And then he, pulled a David Copperfield and disappeared, right? Because go down the stretch, didn't do much. He had 18 touchdowns in 2 years. I'll give him that. But under 800 yards, both seasons, one at Michigan State, one at Florida State. Listen, 2 games of over 100 yards? That makes you stiff in the pants because it doesn't do it for me. Not at all. Give me Michael Wilson every goddamn Sunday.
I like that. Man, this one was really hard because I was a huge fan of Michael Wilson coming out of last season. The fluidity, I don't even know if that's a word, fluidity of him is great. You know what I mean? So he's someone that he's very agile in his route run. He's someone that can make his moves and adjust his body and make the catches. He has some phenomenal hands. I think Coleman is going to get more of an opportunity and it could be because I feel the Cardinals were kind of scared to unleash him because of the injury concerns that he had, because he got hurt a lot when he was at Stanford, and the times he wasn't, he showed out. But we could see a step in him at this next level, but I feel people will be high on Coleman. So, I mean, for that reason of this upcoming season, I do think Coleman will have a better opportunity, and I'd probably buy more on him than I would Michael Wilson. But I have Michael Wilson as you can get him for cheaper, and he might have a better season, like you mentioned, because he is the vet now compared to the rookies. Yeah, a lot more fluid than Coleman. Coleman's very stiff whenever he's doing everything. He's very there's no motion to him, and the speed isn't necessarily there what it would be with Michael Wilson. But again, I feel the Cardinals held him back last year more so than let him go because they're like, we still need to figure out if you're going to be fully healthy.
I don't think it had to do with his health. I think it had to do with the carousel of QBs and not knowing if Kyler Murray was coming back, whether they were keeping him or not, what they were going to do with contracts in that wide receiver room. I'm going to say Michael Wilson damn near doubles every statistical category outside of touchdowns than Keon Coleman. Receptions, yards, targets, all of it. Yards per catch, yards after all of it. Keon Coleman might get more touchdowns. Michael Wilson has the opportunity to be the one. Keon Coleman ain't sniffing the one on any team in the NFL.
Facts. Opportunity. I mean, we'll see. Arizona just said that, they have that on the draft pick that they're answering calls, right? So 4 is there. You have Neighbors or Marvin Harrison Jr. there. We'll see. But like you mentioned, I mean, it's different, though, because, these are rookies, regardless of who they are. They could be the best rookie prospect in the world. You still have to get acclimated, right? Like you mentioned. So that's a huge part. And Michael Wilson could be that guy early on. I think I feel like we could be more likely to see Michael Wilson take a dip in the second half, where Coleman could uprise in the second half as well.
With Michael Wilson, if the Cardinals do draft the receiver, I think that would benefit Michael Wilson because that would force the defense to play the entire field instead of doubling Wilson. And then you also have McBride operating the middle, and that would create one-on-one coverage and zone coverages that would force Michael Wilson not to be double covered, not to be jammed early. He would get free open and he would do well. And as far as Keon Coleman, the last time he got open, he was in middle school. Now that was our this or that segment. Let's get to our next one. 5 statements with Nino and SC. Statement number 1. Georgia's quarterback Carson Beck will throw for 4,200 passing yards and 32 touchdown passes by the end of the 2024 season. Nino, you're up first.
Hell yeah. Book it, baby. I'm in, dude. He was almost at 4,000 yards last season, okay? The touchdowns is a big jump, right? I think he had, 24 last season, right? But he had 6 games last season of 1 or 0 touchdowns. This has to be, and I may be wrong, but this has to be the best wide receiver room Georgia's had. He's ever had, but Georgia's had in years. Kobe Young is literally a lateral movement, maybe a step up from Rosemary Jackson, right? Dylan Bell, all the buzz is there. London Humphreys, we seen what he could do. He already added like 12 pounds. I can only imagine what he's going to do when people try to jam him now at the line of scrimmage. And is it true that Ra Thomas is healthy and eligible to play? Is that legit? He's back to normal? That has got to be the best wide receiver room Georgia's had in a long time. Oh, let me hit you with the X factor. Del McGee is gone. That running back room, you about to take a hit. They may not be able to run the ball like they have for this long. It's going to take a little bit of time to get that back to normal. I know ETN. Yo, Beck might work himself this year into a top 3 quarterback in this class.
So, you brought up ETN, so I'm going to follow up, and I'm going to say, yeah, I'm all in on that too. But ETN, the difference is Kendall Milton, Dazon Edwards, last year, 24 receptions total. ETN had 100% catch rate last year, 21 receptions, 21 targets, 21 receptions alone. That's going to do work for him and allow him to get these passing yards because he can just do quick dump offs and let ETN do the thing. You mentioned the wide receiver room. I 100% agree, but you didn't mention Eurosick over there. You didn't mention Oscar Delp either. 2 other guys that are going to be studs for him as well. Shout out Pierce Sperlin. I saw he had to medically retire, so hope he stays healthy and does good because he was a great prospect. But Oscar Delp and Eurosick, I think as a whole, this is possibly his best as a whole team right now. You know what I mean? And we're not even talking about what Roderick Robinson can do if they need to get in the period. If we see a healthy Branson Robinson finally, what's going to happen? He just has the weapons around him, as you mentioned. 39, just under 4,000. He had like 39 something.
3972 or something.
So just under. He's going to hit 4,200. He's going to hit 32 touchdowns. I think this is his season, and he needs to. If he doesn't, then we're going to start asking questions. But I think he's going to eat that up.
Statement number 2. Memphis wide receiver Rock Taylor will have over 80 receptions and 10 touchdowns by the end of the 2024 season. SC, you're up first.
Yeah, I'm buying the 80 receptions possibly. I don't know about the 10 touchdowns. He had 4 last season, right? I think he still has some competition with Blackham, but I'm not going to say that correctly. Blackham C. You know what I mean? So I think that's going to be the biggest thing. And I think he will be the wide receiver 1 for that team. He will get 8 receptions. He's Seth's favorite target, Seth Hannigan. I was speaking about him just a while ago, right? So he's going to be his favorite target. So yards, receptions will be there. The 10 touchdowns, man, that's a huge jump from 4 to 6 or 4 to 10, excuse me. And I don't see that happening because I just don't see him as necessarily the red zone target. If he gets the catches and breaks away, sure. But I'm 50-50. I'm yes on your receptions. I'm no on the touchdowns.
I'm right there with you. One red zone touchdown for Rock last season. All of the other touchdowns came on long passes. It's my guy. Blankum see, Blankum saw. My guy is the touchdown man. He had 7 last year. He had close to 18 yards per catch. You know what I mean? He's the he's the guy that gets him down there. And then when they get to the red zone between him and Rock, they're going to the big fella. They're going to go to Demir, and they're going to get him the ball. I think he's the guy who gets the 10. I think Rock probably Rock might get to 1,200 yards this season. There's a good chance that he gets up. He could be a top 10 wide receiver in receiving yards this year. And I don't think that's a spicy take at all. But I don't see 6 touchdowns is a huge jump in one season. That's big boy numbers. Hennigan's ready to go. I just don't know if he can make 6. 4? I could give him 4.
Yeah, like you were saying too, he's not the only one there, right? So I mean, if he was, you have some teams where this is all they have, right? If that was it, sure, I could see that jump happening. But he's competing for the red zone targets and he's not even getting them. You know what I mean? So that's where it comes into me.
Statement number 3. Class of 2025 wide receiver Winston Watkins Jr., who decommitted from Colorado, is currently outside the top 20 in his position group. Watkins will be a riser and end up being a top 10 wide receiver by the 2024 early National Signing Day. Nino, you're up first.
Bro, can you put him and Dylan Raiola on the freaking red couch? These MFs got commitment problems, bro. They have commitment issues, right? Like, I just don't understand it. He first IMG, then it's First Baptist, Texas A&M, then it's Colorado. Like, dude, come on, bro. Make up your decision where you want to go. Why does everybody got to go? If you're good, you're good. Look at Henderson. He's at a 1A school in Alabama, and he's 61 touchdowns, and he's probably a top 10 back in the class. It don't matter what school you go to. It matters what you put on the field, what you put on tape, and the production you put up. Those things to me are huge red flags. That's a big red flag with Raiola. I've been saying for months, like, this guy can't commit. If something don't go right, is he out? Like, you know what I'm saying? Is he going to go? But like this kid's got the game, right? I just my concern is he seems to be more of like the touchdown guy. He doesn't seem to be that guy that just can be your possession guy and eat the amount of field between the 20s. I know he was the positional on the Armor MVP, and it's growing, and he broke his record for First Baptist for most touchdowns, 10 this season, right? But not knocking First Baptist, but who what was the record before that? 7? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's cool that he broke a record and he owns that. But he's at 30 right now on 3. That's a jump, dude. That's a big, big jump to get into the top 10. Right now, the room is Miami. And you might be buried over there. You know what I mean? They got a couple of juniors this season that might go on, might come back. I know Restrepo's probably gone after the season. So I'm going to have to go no. I'm out on him being in the top 10 wide receiver. I think he's got game. I think he's going to refine a few things, polish his stuff up in between the 20s. But I don't know if he can break the top 10.
Yeah, top 10 is hard for me. So, I mean, for this, I was looking at the class, looking at, all right, what 10 I think right now are for me and who's in there. You have DeCorian Moore, LSU commit, right? You have Khalil Lockett. You have Caleb Cunningham. You have Jamie French. You have Dallas Wilson, Derek Smith, Travis Smith Jr., Jerome Miles, Quincy Porter, Quentin Simmons Jr., Cooper Perry, Cortez Bill, and then even Donovan Oglu-Balde. I probably said that incorrectly. So a bunch of guys. And top 10 is a push. I can possibly give him top 15. I think he could maybe get into that top
bottom
15
end
range.
Of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, though, because even that's 12, 13 guys right there.
Yeah.
So top 15, I can do it. I just don't know if he's got to hit in the top 10. And that's nothing on his side. I like what I see on tape. Shout out the Lizard King, Sammy Watkins. It's his cousin, right? So shout him out. But the other 10 guys are total packages. The other 10 guys have something going for them, and they're going to be some top dogs coming out of this class. So that's where it's at. It's not that he's bad. It's just the other guys right now are better. And unless things drastically change, we just see a dip that we didn't see. Maybe the competition gets better or whatever it may be. I don't see him hitting the top 10.
I think his cousin just signed with the Patriots. Didn't Jalen Watkins just sign? Is he a DB? I'm pretty sure he just signed with the Patriots like yesterday.
His other one, yeah, probably. I don't know.
But yeah, I like his game. Like I said, I there's a few things you got to polish. That's all.
Statement number 4. Class of 2025 quarterback and SMU commit Keelan Russell has turned heads at the 7v7 camp, and high-profile Power 4 schools are rumored to be targeting him now. By 2024 early national signing day, SMU will be able to hold on to Russell. SC, you're up first.
I don't know, man. If he's an early commit, I say yeah. But there's some other teams that I think could gain some traction on them. You have Baylor. I don't think they have any freshmen on the roster right now. You have Florida. He's been to Florida's junior day. He's having a connection with Florida right now that possibly could take him. And then you also have Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech doesn't seem like they have anyone as well. So three schools that have already considered him as far as offers that he could possibly go to. When I say no one, I mean freshman. I saw you head, yeah, freshman right now. So
I was about to jump through the screen at you. Like, wow.
I saw you make a step back. No. So with freshmen, they don't have any freshmen right there. So you think about opportunity. I think those schools may have the best opportunity for him. Florida's an interesting one because Lagway's there, and I really think Lagway's going to take that. So that one's possibly it. But I believe Florida's the only school that he's actually gone to visit as a junior day and everything like that. So again, maybe if he's an early commit to SMU. But I do think it's possible one of those schools that I mentioned end up snagging him over just because the competition might be a little bit different for him, and he might want that.
Couple things here. 3 letters. A, C, C. See ya later. No way. When he committed, it was before they went and realigned. We all talk on how the ACC is the trash conference in college football, right? Like they may have speedy linebackers, but as a whole, out of all of them, out of all the big dogs, the ACC is the bottom of the barrel, and they may dismantle before the kid can even commit to stay committed to SMU with Clemson and Florida State on the go. Duncanville is no joke. That is a legitimate program. 14-1. He brought them to their second title game. Like, this kid threw for 3,500 yards, 72% completion, 38-3 touchdown interception ratio, and put up 6 yards per carry on the ground. This is what college teams and NFL teams want. This is he's giving them that Jennings style of life. That like you know what I mean? Like this is what they want. I don't know if they could keep him. You mentioned a couple teams. I got 3 teams on here that you didn't mention at all. A&M. I don't think Wegman stays. I have a funny feeling Wegman's going to hit that late portal, and it's going to be fireworks. Okay, and if it's not this year, it's by the end of this next. I don't think, from what I'm hearing, there ain't many people buying into Elko's system. That's what I'm hearing. Ole Miss, right? I know that they just got homeboy to transfer over and commit to them. I just don't know. I think Delaney loves competition. He's always brought in that other guy to just get it popping. UCLA. Listen, a lot of these kids in the 25 class and 26 class are loving what Deshaun Foster is building out there in UCLA. Yeah, he's building an NFL coaching system, right? With experience that develop players. They ain't got much lined up down the pipeline in the QB department, right? They just lost their big gun. So watch out for UCLA making him play. The ACC, I think, is going to be a big, big factor on him staying or going.
So he has to be an early commit, and they have to just wow him where he's like, I'm not even going to look at other offers. I'll just take you.
Right.
For those of you that are SMU fans, someone did ask Russell, what about Texas? And his response was they already have quarterbacks. So if you are an SMU fan and you're hoping he stays, there's a clear pathway after Preston Stone leaves. So that is your hope if you are an SMU fan. Statement number 5, Wisconsin running back room. Oklahoma transfer Tawi Walker will be the RB1. SC, you're up first.
This is an ugly running back room, to be honest. You know, so I was like, oh, this is exciting. I get to watch all these tapes and be like, it, man, I was not satisfied with a lot of it. I don't think he's going to be an RB1. It's going to be like a 50-50 split. If Belushi's healthy, I think if Belushi's healthy, fully healthy, I think he's the guy over him. But at best, it's a 50-50 split for them. The sleeper guy, the dark horse guy I have here is Dylan Jones. I think that guy has a lot more burst to him than Belushi or Walker has. So he's the guy that, if I'm him, I'm personally liking him over these two guys. But I think because of the veteran, because he's a true freshman coming in, Belushi and Walker are going to split some time. And that could be just to ease in Belushi, just to make sure he doesn't re-aggravate or anything like that. But there's not, right now, to me, there really is not a clear RB1 of this team.
Nah, this is an open room. Walker's the JUCO kid, right? That came in from JUCO, went to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I'll give him. He's a stand-up kid. I'll give him that because he hit the transfer portal and still played for them in the bowl game. I think he only had 7 attempts, but he when everybody was like opted out and they weren't playing, he played and he did his thing for them still. So I'll give that to him. I don't understand how Ches was out beating Brandon Allen early, first 4 games before the injury, but he was. And yards per carry, touches, all of it. He's averaging 6.1 yards per carry in those first 4 games. I don't know if that was to save Brandon Allen for the long run or whatever they were trying to figure out there. I don't know. He had an ugly injury. I don't know if he's going to be, healthy right off the rip. But the guy I really like, and you said Dylan Jones, I really like true freshman Darian Dupree. I just think the kid offers both sides of the ball. He can catch the ball, right? He can run the ball. This kid averaged 9.5 yards per carry. I mean, he didn't get all the touches in the world, but when he got the touches, he got like 89 touches or something like that. But when he got the touches, this kid dominated. So in an open room, all Fickle needs to see is a kid that's got the hunger, got the fire, and he's hitting these holes and being decisive as a freshman. But watch out. I think Dupree could carve a little bit away. Like I'm saying, like, early often this kid could manufacture 4 or 5, touches a game, and if he hits on those, that running back room might be looking at Dupree as the dude.
That's still in Jones too, man. That running back room is just from what it in the past we've seen Wisconsin just produce some good running backs. You know,
Right.
they've had some great ones, and this one's gonna be tough, but that could be a reason. All right, they're producing, so Dupree and Jones could be. We're talking. I'm saying 50-50 Walker and Malusi. It could very well be Dupree and Jones 50-50 split as well. So
this guy may not win the job at all. He may only be a third down guy. But a guy that I like in this back room is Cade Yakamili. He was a safety converted to wide receiver, then converted to running back. He's a guy that has a knack for making plays in high school, and he does something that the coaches like. He will do whatever it takes to help the team. I'm not saying he's going to win the job, but he is someone that could carve out a third down role.
He's your Vaki. He's your son Vaki.
It's funny because in my notes, and he'll start saying them with you because I have K Yakameli, and I have it right by Andy's guy. And I didn't even talk to you about this before, but I was just like, I feel like he's gonna like this guy here. So he's good. That was a good pick.
Bonus statement. The Texas State Bobcats will win the Sun Belt Conference and represent the G5 schools in the 12-team college football playoffs. Nino, you're up first.
I don't know if you want me to go first, dude. Because I'm going to go yes. I honestly think that they're going to run I think they're going to run amok. I think between Marty, they brought in another back that had like 800 yards, and he's a receiving back. Hankins, I think it is. UTEP's running back. Yeah. Hankins came in. Deion Hankins. I think that's a 1-2 combination over there. Right? They got Dirty Joey Herbert. They just brought in a receiver in the transfer portal. And now their quarterback is McLeod, correct?
Yeah.
On a team that averages 85 offensive plays a game, was putting up like 30-something points, almost 400 yards of offense, bro. Give it to me. James Madison, skeleton crew. Troy, skeleton crew. I knew when I saw this on the doc, I'm like, he ain't gonna be happy with me. South Alabama, starting Gio Lopez. I like Lopez, but he's a redshirt freshman, right? You look, Arkansas State, yeah, maybe they could give a run, but you think they're gonna turn it around from 3-5 last year in the conference? I don't know. Coastal Carolina, they're going on a redshirt freshman as well. Old Dominion, they just lost number 1 running back, which is the heart and soul of their team. Marshall, maybe, but they were 3-something in the conference last season. It's Texas Tech, it's GJ Kiney, and then he's out, right? Then he gets a step to another bigger program to kind of show his talents.
It's funny because I put James Madison at first, and I was like, oh, shit, McLeod's not there anymore, so that's out, right? So you just brought up Texas State there. I had to go Arkansas State, man. You brought it up. Yeah, they could possibly turn around. Rainier's him. Man, and that's gonna be my pick for them taking it. I like McLeod, I like what he can do, and you brought up all valid points. But I talked about Rainier last week, when we were talking about the future Phenoms and what he can do. This kid is going to take control of this team now. This is going to be his team to take it to that next level. And if Texas State is his only competition, if you will, because I think these are the 2 best teams in the conference, I'm going to take him over McLeod in the new system there. So
I'm just going to McLeod. It ain't a new system. It's a similar system to James Madison. They let McLeod do whatever the hell he wanted to do. He was the heart and soul of that offense. You want to air it out, air it out. You want to roll out and run, You want to do a dump pass, do what you got to do. We're going to fine tune this to you. But if we want to go down, we can do it. It might not work in your favor, but we go position, by stat, by production. Texas State checks all the boxes, homie. Every single one. Even the backups in the running back department. Texas State, offensive production, up-tempo offense, probably a better offensive coordinator. Like, we can just go down the line, and you guys have to win more games. Texas State already was in above 500. You guys were below, 6-7 last season?
Yeah.
You got to win 4 more games to get in first.
The biggest thing, though, you brought up James Madison, Troy, even Coastal Carolina, all these skeleton teams now, right? A lot of these teams lost a lot of their top players here, where it's an opportunity for Arkansas State to improve, because when they did lose those teams, they were legit teams now. You know what I mean? So there's a different, it's the same conference, but it's different teams built around it because they're losing some big guys.
State, though. We in the same division, homie. You got to come to us to win.
This is hard for me, bro, because I'm from Texas, right? So say it again, even go with Arkansas, right? So no, man, I think Arkansas State takes it. I guess that's the battle there, right? We'll find out.
To give everyone listening a behind the scenes little thing here, I usually do the show sheet. I have no idea what these guys are going to say. And this was supposed to be like a 5-episode kind of little thing where I go through different G5 schools and eventually get to the Liberties, the USF, and the Boise's. Had no idea Nino was going to say yes to Texas State with my first in the series. So this is going to change things up for me down the line.
All right, let's just, can we run through the schedule real quick?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So right off the rip, right? Lamar.
Win.
UTSA, but everybody's gone. Everybody's gone. It's a whole new team, you know.
Hold up. At UTSA, Owen McCown, if he wins the job, he's shown that he has flashes. And then they have a Devin McEwen as their wide receiver 1, and then they have a DeCorian Clark who should be cleared by the summer. So that could be a tough matchup.
That's what you also got to think. That's in state. They're right by each other. They're basically
but it's home.
schools,
it's at
you know what I mean?
Texas State. You know what I'm saying?
Is it though?
Yeah.
UTSA is down the road, bro. That's
it's still my home stadium. They're gonna be much harder than would be for me than it would be at your stadium. Come on, you're playing on your turf.
Yeah, and man, it's like 5 minutes away from each other though, so you still have a lot of fans there.
I'll give you that. But then you got Arizona State, and he just came out saying that Rashad is not going to be ready for all of spring. He's not going to play any of the spring practices. I honestly Texas State can win that one. Sam Houston, that's probably a dub. Troy,
hey, shout out my Bearcats though.
Yeah, no, they're good. They got a good wide receiver on the outside. Troy, Skeleton Crew. I mean, it's in Troy. I think they can win that one. October 12th. We don't have to watch this one live, bro. Arkansas State at Texas State.
Special future Phenoms episode.
Then we got Texas State on the road at Old Dominion. That's a winnable game. Raging Cadets come to Texas State. Winnable game. Monroe on the road. Winnable game. Southern Mississippi. Drain. Got nobody really on that lineup. That's a win. You're looking at a possibly, if they lose maybe one game and they close it out with South Alabama, that could be a battle if Lopez is seasoned by that time and he feels good because they do have some weapons on the outside. Pritchett, you know what I'm saying? So, like, they could lose maybe one. If Liberty loses one, you're looking at there's your competition.
I have them losing to South Alabama and to UTSA. That's why for me it was a no, because no way a two-loss G5 school would get represented in the 12-team playoff. So that's why I started with them.
I think if they beat UTSA, they can run the table. I just think McLeod you're bringing veteran leadership now, right? He's already done it, put up big numbers. You have a young room. You have Monty's young, but Hankins is the vet, so you have the combo right there. You have a good wide receiver room, and I'm trying to think of who they just brought in. They brought in a good guy in the transfer portal, just like I want to say a couple of days ago. Oh, right at the end of it. Yeah, I want to say they brought someone out. I thought I read something about it, but yeah,
they brought in a couple of running backs.
No, not running backs. Wide receiver.
Oh,
I want to see. Let me see. Yeah.
You can go ahead and do that, and I'll filibuster.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so the entire process was going to be this. It was going to be Texas State this week, and then next week I was going to go someone else. I was probably going to be a no. And the final 3 schools were going to be Liberty, Boise State, and USF in some kind of fashion where we would kind of get a yes. So that was the theory behind this little
I just thought with Texas State, though. You know what I mean?
I had them losing 2 games.
You think that McGowan can pick up the pieces right there and get it going?
Yeah.
No problem with like filling for Frank Harris, like it didn't even.
No problems. Because Barnes is still there. I think Owen McCowan's really good. Devin McEwen, as a true freshman last year, was
he's
really
good. Yeah.
And so he's going to take over that top role. DeCorian Clark, suppose he's going to come back by fall camp. So you have 2 receivers. You have your running back, and then Owen McCowan is going to jump right in, and they're not going to miss a beat.
I'm not fully sold on McCowan. I got to see a little more because my theory is Why would they want Frank back for that final year if McCollum was good to go? Frank wasn't even 100% last year.
It's kind of hard to say no to Frank Harris when he's been your guy. He's been the face of that franchise. So I get why they wanted him back and use up all his eligibility because he is UTSA.
Right,
so
right.
I get
The
that.
season before he went off.
But the game, there was plenty of games last year where he was kind of where they had opportunities to put McCollum in, and he didn't really get any shine. I'll have to see. It'll be interesting. I'm a Texas State guy. I think Kiney is a great coach, and I love this system. So
yeah, when he was the quarterback at Tulsa, I absolutely love those Tulsa teams. They were so fun to watch. They were great. But those are our 5 segments. Now we're going to bring you some 2024 NFL rookies to think about. SC, who's the rookie that you want to talk about?
Man, we're thinking about him because I'm still thinking about him too. And this is Arizona running backs Michael Wiley. I know he came out. He looked better than what I was expecting at the combine there. Still nothing quick or nothing fast, but he runs headfirst into your defenders. He might get some playing time just because his size and everything. He, to me, is kind of like a poor man's James Conner with less burst and just a smaller frame than what James Conner is. But the way he kind of runs between those tackles is what I see in that. As I mentioned, this is someone that I've been trying to be like, is he worth any kind of draft capital to me? I don't even know where he's going in the draft rank like that. I'm still trying to dive further into his tape to see what is it in him because the combine came out and it looked good. It's like, okay, I do need to watch out for this guy, right? And that's where you see some of these combines, these guys that kind of blow up the charts and just look great. So he's just someone to think about. This running back class is very weak, as we mentioned earlier. I mentioned as my one. I think there's a solid maybe 5 or 6, maybe 7 guys that a lot of people have within their consensus area. Wiley is not one of them, but I could see him landing in the spot and people get excited about it, and then he ends up jumping some boards there. But definitely someone I'm going to watch and pay closer attention to because of the combine. I think he does get some capital.
I like Wiley. I think he did well for Arizona. Maybe you've seen, combine guys skyrocket, do better, and then, come pro days and they get a little bit more buzz. And I think Wiley could be a guy late round, maybe UDFA, depending on where the running back room's kind of, because it's a mediocre class for running back. So we'll have to wait and see. I think all this free agency kind of told you how they felt about running backs, though, in this class.
But there's still a few teams that I think could use one. So that's where, but there's like 5 teams and there's like 5 possibly good running backs in this class. So
right, I mean, you could be in he could end up being in an Eric Gray role for the Giants, like that.
Right.
So
yes, and he's from Houston, Texas. So I got to talk about my Texas.
Nino, who do you want to talk about?
I'm going to talk about a guy that's been in the news for things that had nothing to do with football. My man don't believe in birds; they fake, right? I'm going to go with Illinois tight end Tip Raymond. Just a freak, okay? Like, he had an athletic score of 87. That was number 2 for the tight ends at the combine, right? This dude ran a 4.64 40, right? He's got 10.5-inch hands, 6'5", 230. Only had 19 receptions for 203 yards and 3 touchdowns. We're talking about Illinois here. I mean, I know Isaiah Williams had 1,000 yards, but outside Isaiah Williams, I think the next closest guy was 560 yards. Like, they ain't chucking the ball all over the place. They had 2 QBs. Both of them were under 1,500 yards each total in the season. But what I did like about him is he can block. Okay, this dude can hog tie you, grab you up, and just move you around, do whatever he needs to do, and then get off and be open for his QB. He bursts off his break. He gains separation well. He's a fluid athlete. Does well in the short area quickness. He's violent. When targeted last season, like I said, he was only targeted like 26 times, had 19 receptions. When targeted, his quarterbacks had a QBR of 141. That just says safety to me. Safety blanket. I'm always going to be on the field. When I'm on the field, you will not have to worry about getting blown up from my side of the field. I'm not going to miss assignments, but being able to block passes and runs will get him on the field, which will get him opportunities to possibly get these easy catches, these play actions, these little rollouts and dump passes. I think Tip Raymond is a guy that people aren't talking about, but at 6'5", he's a tight end you want. This is a guy that could just kind of come out of nowhere like a Tucker Croft did for Green Bay and do it, put up, I'm not saying crazy numbers, but put up production. 6'5", 230, The guy who can catch the ball and block. I'm all in.
Yeah, but you hit it on the spot with the blocking. I mean, that's for the tight ends. Unless your name's Brock Bowers, you have to be able to do that to have some playing time at the NFL, right?
Yeah.
So this is something where I think that's going to benefit him, and he's going to be a day 3 pick. But I think he's going to have some opportunity there because he's going to go out in camp and showcase, oh, look, I can block. And then they're going to be like, wait, you can also run some routes here a little bit. So let's actually use you a little bit. So I like that. That's definitely someone to watch out for.
I mean, a 1.55-10 split for a guy at 6'5", 230, a 10-foot 1-inch broad jump. Like, he's got some athleticism to him. I know everybody's talking about Dallas Hawker out of Colorado State, or Holker, whatever his name is. Give me some tip, bro. I'm all about getting tip, Raymond. No, pause.
Hey, I will say he has me questioning the Birds now. I'm looking at them like, what's going on here, man?
Do you see him being like a 5th, 6th round guy, or more towards a 7th undrafted?
I think it would kind of fall in between like early 6th, 7th. Maybe he falls out of UDFA, but I'm talking about a guy. If he goes UDFA, he's probably gonna be one of the first guys as soon as the draft's over that gets signed.
No, at best he'll be a 5th round, but I can see 6th. I don't think he makes it to 6th, 7th round. I don't think he'll go undrafted. Someone's gonna fall in love with him, and at that point, it's a dart throw, right? But if you like it at that point, just like we do in our rookie drafts, it's like, all right, who do I just like? And I feel some teams do like him because of what he did at the combine. Maybe they're a little off with the whole bird charging thing, but still they're gonna be like, hey, you're a good guy, you know how to play the game, so let's get you. So I don't think he goes undrafted.
I'm telling you right now, the people surrounding him, they smart. Okay, he wasn't getting enough buzz. Started to make a little bit of buzz right before the combine by saying the bird thing. They were like, "Yo, say something stupid. Like, just say something that's going to get your name out there because nobody knows who the hell you are." Tight end out of Illinois. Put them on a map. All of a sudden, people talk about Tip Raymond, and where does he go? Goes on a run a 4.64, and he's one of the top athletic tight ends at the combine. And now people are like, "All right, not so much worry about the words, the birds. Don't worry about this dude's got athleticism." And maybe I'll take a flyer on him. Like, if you're in a running heavy team, this is a guy you want. Block. All right, when you think he's in the game just to block, now he just slides off, pulls a Travis Kelce, gets a ball, boom, get you a first down. He ain't going to get like 50 receptions in a season, but he can get you 25, 30 and be productive, probably get you like, 4 or 5 touchdowns.
Low key, watch the Jets take him.
And it would be Aaron Rodgers would love that dude.
And those are some rookies to think about. Now, rookie values, they fluctuate daily, and that leads us into our next segment, the stock exchange. Nino, you're up first. Who's your stock exchange guy?
You hear that? That's opportunity knocking. My boy Kendrick Riscano is about to seize the RB1 position. I know we talk about Henry Parrish. He might be coming over, from Miami to Ole Miss because he was already committed to Ole Miss before. But, Logan Diggs news drops, and he's probably going to miss a lot of the season recovering from a knee injury. Ulysses Bentley, the 4th, he's probably going to miss multiple games and all of spring. Yeah, you got to open room for a kid that's already been there, familiar with your playbook. This is a dude that's coming off 5,000 yards all-purpose in high school, okay? This is a dude that ran for almost 1,900 yards his senior year, 8.3 yards per carry. He averaged 154 yards per game. There was nobody stopping him. He found the end zone 35 times. 31 of them were on the ground. He is a dude. I love Riscano. I was hoping that he would get some time last year, but they didn't really need to use him. They had so many, horses in the stable. Well, the stable's empty. And all I see is this stallion sitting there for Hottie Toddy ready to take off. Give me all the Riscano shares you can get. I got a bunch of them, and I'm ready to just cash them in and love it, baby.
Can't find my notepad right now, but here's a little post-it note. Sign me up, man. I was all in on Riscano. You and asked Andy as soon as Ole Miss transferred, or not Ole Miss, as soon as Quinshon Judkins transferred, I said, this is the guy you want to go get. He's just the opportunity wasn't there last year. That's the reason why we don't know about him. And no offense, Quinshon Judkins was the man, so I'm not taking that from him. But Riscano, he's about to take this spot. This is about to be him, and we're about to see some flourish. We've talked about Jackson Dart and what he's doing with that team. This team, and you even mentioned that they're going to be the top team in the SEC, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned they're going to be going for the heads this year. Riscano's going to be a problem. Not as in a bad problem, as in he's going to be a problem for these opposing defenses because he knows exactly what he needs to do with the football. He knows how to break tackles. He knows how to get open. He knows how to cut outside. He has speed. Everything just check. Sign me up. I'm all in.
I love it.
Keegan Riscano was one of my favorite running backs last year. I wrote a Debbie Digest freshman player profile on him. The last time Lane Kiffin saw and recruited a running back personally was Quinshon Judkins. He did that with Keegan Riscano. He went to his games and he personally recruited him. This is a guy that had over 42 receptions. He is a guy that has soft hands, very good hands. He is a 3-down back. All he needs is that chance, and that chance is now.
Yep.
This is all systems go for Keegan Riscano. SC, who's your stock exchange guy?
But we're gonna go on a guy that's transferring. That's gonna be Cassius Howe coming from Bowling Green to A&M. A&M just lost arguably the top edge rusher in this class in Edgerrin Cooper. Just a guy that has extreme burst and can go out and just make his moves. This guy, Howell, he knows how to swim properly around the defenders. Last season, he had 44 total pressures, 7 QB hits, 27 hurries, 9.5 sacks. The bad thing about him is sometimes he plays too fast. He had 19.5 missed tackles last season, 19.5% missed tackles last season. But the year before, he had less than 6%. So slow it down. I mean, we've talked about this before. Sometimes these guys take a step back, take a breath, and then go, right? Sometimes he just overshoots his guys, but we saw what Edgerrin Cooper did at A&M. I think this is an opportunity for him to go and take that role and potentially be what Edgerrin Cooper was for that team, just an efficient defender that is constantly in the quarterback space and not allowing them to think properly so A&M's defense can capitalize.
Listen, you mentioned the 9.5 sacks, bro. For me, it's 10.5 tackles for loss that just like jumps off the screen. Yes, he does over pursue it a little bit. Yes, he gets a little bit excited, and like you said, he had that high missed tackle rate. But he didn't have that last year. But he also was kind of showcased this year. Mm-hmm. So is the missed tackle rate more of the regular than more of the outlier? It's something we're going to have to see, especially now in the SEC playing these big boys. You got them shifty backs. You got them shifty QBs. You don't want to get on a Sports Center moment with your pants down looking like a fool. So he's going to have to fix that. But I think the motor he's got, I think the strength is there. I think he just, bro, the backfield is just a big target for him. And all he's doing is shooting for that big red target.
He also, athlete, 6 catches, 88 yards, and 2 touchdowns last season, too. So however they used him, that was it. But just, someone that they trust to even put out there. You're talking about a guy that plays off the edge and things like that. I mean, natural speed there where it's going to be something. If he can focus on, like I said, taking a step back, taking that breather, and then attacking, boom. Because sometimes he just goes, and it's like, bro, you got to think about how you're going or where you're going first sometimes, too. So.
Great episode, guys. SC, where can people find your work, and what are you currently working on?
Yeah, man. So the Fantasy Football Universe, we still got our rookie profiles coming out. Got some big things coming up for the draft day. You can find everything going on there for the rookie profiles. RPO Football, man, have my 7th-round mock draft coming out. Did it with 2 of my other guys, Spencer and JT, where we got a 7th-round NFL mock draft coming out to where we think certain guys are landing. We got the CFB Nation that's resuming here. We're going to have episode 2 coming out. PPR, so, man, this upcoming Tuesday, as in tomorrow, got my man Mace, aka Cali Kings, coming on to talk some IDP. So excited for that.
Nino, where can people find your work, and what are you currently working on?
You catch me over at, the league winners, writing some articles, doing the Future Phenom show with you 2 gentlemen. CFB Nation, I got my hands in a little bit of everything. Debbie Degens, I just did my last show about the running back stock market with volume pigs. And I'm over there doing the social media for Couch Scouts. So any one of those 4 spots, you can catch me.
And we'll be back next week. But before we go, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button, comment, subscribe. And if you're listening on Spotify and Apple, give us a rate and review. And we'll see you next time on Future Phenoms.